It's March, and there's a certain species that should be coming out rather aggressively. All that up next on Next Level Fishing TV. Definitely a meat haul today, and I apologize if that offends anybody, but Daddy got to eat. Where's the total damage? Because he caught it on live shrimp. Nah, I'm just kidding.
I didn't catch, I got it on video.
It's a good day, dude. So one of the things we got going on today really is just some really good trout weather. You know, it's nice and cloudy out. You guys have always seen me use sort of the same lures, but you've never seen this one. This is the Boca Chica. This is a new Boca Chica that I'm using. And I've got it on a, that actually might be a 1/8. I'm not 100% on that, but good hook, good lure. I've actually caught a lot of reds with it. So I'm curious to see if Boca Chica can do just as much damage with trout fishing. Also got my ECK rods, which I've been actually using this year. These are like super affordable. They're like 70 bucks that they sell there at the shop. I think this is like an ongoing thing with Loose, if I'm not mistaken. They always have those little things on this model rip off. It looks like it's just like there's just a hole there. Maybe they glue it, maybe it's just sort of like pinned in there. I have no idea. But it's a great reel, but it came off rather rapidly, so. But that's all right. It's not gonna make a difference what I'm using, as long as what I'm using is doing its thing. The forecast is just beautiful today. It's what a lot of trout fishermen would call just perfect trout fishing weather. You know, there's a little fog early out in the morning, and there's a lot of different multiple factors as to why that makes it just great conditions. A couple of things that I really enjoy out of this type of weather is just what it brings to the water. You know, traditionally, usually, depending on where you're at, it means just that much more cover for the angler. Usually the water is a lot more settled. Water clarity really just begins to shine. It clears up. You can see the vegetation lines. You can see drop-offs a little bit better. And, you know, so you're getting cover mixed with good visibility. It's just perfect for this type of fishing and where we're at today. He's like right over there. I showed up a little late to the show, but you know, I can see just automatically that these guys are already hooking up on fish. So it's looking like it's going to be a great day. Of course, trophy fishing is always on the menu, right? I mean, as it is with all of us. But today, you know, I just really want to get out there on a good amount of fish, some good, healthy eating trout. And if we can sneak a red in or two, you know, that'd be great. So you see this shoreline, Noe? Yeah. All the rocks are parallel with it. And then there's drop-offs. What I like to do on shorelines that just have a lot of character, a lot of, you know, underwater structure, good drop-offs, some decent moving water. You know, I like to, this is really where your side scan comes and shines. And that's what I'm using. You know, I was kind of telling Noe, sort of laying it out for him, telling him where I'm at. 40 feet to our left, that's where the first line begins, and it just goes that way. So if you cast 40 feet to your left and just let it hit the bottom, but if you cast past it, you can hook up on rocks. I like to just kind of work the edges. I think as long as we stay on that line, we'll find fish, we'll find production. You know, I'm switching things up. At first, I wasn't really finding any success, man, and it was a little frustrating, but you just got to kind of stick with it and just keep moving, man. You know, it's just like red fishing in the marsh, where that's sort of the name of the game. You just keep moving till you find them. And today is sort of the same way, except you're obviously not fishing exposed structure, right? You're looking all bottom, scanning. You're kind of analyzing and picturing everything in your mind from a two-dimensional screen. So it's a different game. It makes it really fun, and the bite finally decided to kick on. one, I almost thought it was a rock, and that I was moving away from it, but it actually ended up being a fish. I'm thinking it's a big trout because you get your mind is set on trout fishing, right? Your drag, everything's set for trout. But then after you fight it, you sort of start feeling out the characteristics of the fight. Just realize it's a rogue red. And ended up being a pretty decent little fighter redfish, man. Not anything huge or anything, but sometimes it's the little ones, man, that can fool you. So we finally sort of pick up on the pattern. What I like to do is I like to figure out where they're at on the column, whether they're in a foot of water, 2 foot of water, 3 foot of water, 5 foot of water, down in some structure, some muddy shell, rocks, grass, what have you, whatever trout structure is around your area. This is what we're dealing with, and we finally begin to see some shifting, some moving, and some of these trout are actually beginning to go from deep to shallow grass and sort of pulling away from that harder structure that we were fishing earlier in the day. Sometimes it's good to set drifts, man. It's good to know where some key structures are at, and it's that much more important to have your side scan so that you know not to run over it, but to sort of comb its perimeter and sort of pick apart the territory, pick apart that area that holds good structure, holds potentially good fish. And you want to bring out everything from that area. You don't want to get too close to it where you're disrupting it and you're ruining your day of fishing. Oh! You see that poon? I think that's why we had such a good day. We were able to kind of work around those key areas, and we just found success all throughout the day, man. It was a fantastic day. Some really, really good fish. And we mixed it up. There's some redfish, some black drum, some trout. There was even a flounder in the mix. Wrap and another successful trip with winds picking up, good old South Texas bipolar springtime. You just got to get off the water. We did what we had to do. We're not trying to get greedy, and we just wrapped it up, man. We had a great time. I had a great time with Mario and Noe, man. These guys, I fish every now and then. Filled up those ice chests, and we got a chance to, Mario actually got a chance to put on a little show on his electric cutter. I don't know what you guys think about that. I'm still more of a knife guy, but I'll say one thing, cutting the drum, it actually did really well. I cut the time in half, and it wasn't exactly the prettiest. If a chef was watching, he'd probably have a heart attack, but hey, it got the job done. The meat's in the ice chest. And overall, it's just a great day of fishing, and you know, we all got our limits. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions on what we used, or maybe something that I just didn't cover that you have a question about, feel free to comment below. I will answer that. I answer all you guys' questions, man. I try and keep as active as possible with comments. And we'll see you next time on Next Level Fishing TV. Mission accomplished.